It's going to be experience against a younger player, but Alexis Morris is not a player that plays like she's inexperienced, and her dad's here, and her dad's coached her since she was in the 2nd grade.
Both of these teams 2-1 in Big Ten play. Nebraska already with 2 wins over ranked opponents on the season. Can they get a third?
Courtney, you talked about these two teams bouncing back off a loss. Well, Indiana had an issue defending and turning the ball over. Nebraska on the other side, they want to get tough. They've got to stay tough for 40 minutes and handle the physicality of the Big Ten.
You see this Nebraska starting lineup. They are without Allison Widener. She is out for the season with an ACL tear back in the Kansas game. And so they've had to have players step up, specifically Jazz Shelley, to run the point.
Shelley has the experience to transfer in from Oregon. This is her 2nd year with Nebraska. She can score the ball.
Mackenzie Holmes inside can score 2. Indiana dealing with injuries of its own. Now, we were hoping we would get to see Grace Berger today. She is still unavailable, working back from an injury, but that timetable might be getting closer.
It was encouraging to see Grace Berger today. No brace. No crutches. She was walking around fine. It's close to 6 weeks she's been out.
Jazz Shelley with the 3 and misses. Shelley, a really good 3-point shooter. She's 8th in the Big Ten in 3-point percentage. Here's Yarden Garzon, the freshman out of Israel. Through the double team, but misses the layup. Shelley dumping it off to Markowski, shooting right over the defense.
Jazz Shelley's going to have to do more of that. Keep the pressure on the defense. Pushing off the bounce, make the defense rotate to help. That'll make things make it easier for Markowski to score.
Garzon turns into the double team right into Markowski, but Holmes got loose on the baseline. A little too much power, and it's going to be a foul on the floor. We saw Sydney Parrish hit the dirt. And that's going to be a foul on Izzy Bourne. And of course, that's not Amy Williams, the coach for Nebraska, but she is coaching at her alma mater. Sydney Parrish, the turnaround in and out. Sam Hybe, it rolls around. Look, she's been handling some of the point guard duties too for this Nebraska Cornhuskers team, but that's because she's limited though with an injury.
Well, and Nebraska's going to have Hybe on the floor, not having Widener. You talked about her injury.
Shelley wide open for 3. A beautiful arch on the shot from Jazz Shelley.
You were complimenting her shot at shoot-around this morning. It is pretty. It's pure. Very technical, fundamental, and it goes in.
She was a 2nd team All-Big Ten, All-Defensive Team selection last year in her 1st season with Nebraska. Spent 2 seasons at Oregon. They go inside to Holmes.
Here's the matchup between these 2 post players.
Oh man, Markowski was doing so well, but she's going to be whistled for the foul. She's been working so hard, Amy Williams. You see Coach Williams there. She's been working so hard. Alexis has to stay out of foul trouble, so that gave her a little bit more frustration in their last game.
And talking to her dad, Andy, before the game, he talked about in that Michigan game, when a post player and Alexis gets into early foul trouble, then the rest of the game you're pretty tentative because you don't want to, get into worse foul trouble. You want to be in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how Alexis handles this. So right away, Amy Williams is going to sub her out.
Terry Morin in her 9th season made back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances. And she talked, how many times did she mention it yesterday in practice? We've got to take care of the basketball. They had a season-high 21 turnovers. And look, this is an Indiana team that takes care of the basketball. They're 1st in the Big Ten in fewest turnovers per game.
Michigan State is a team that really pressed them for 40 minutes, and Indiana was trying to find a balance. Do we score after we break the press, or just get across the timeline and run your offense?
Izzy Bourne from outside.
And now Nebraska bringing a little half-court pressure. Really don't want to allow Indiana to get into their motion offense.
Chloe Moore-McNeil directing traffic for Sarah Scalia. They'll swing it around to Garzone, and she traveled.
Those are the turnovers that Terry Morin wants to eliminate.
Kendall Moriarty giving it back up to Jazz Shelley. That's Maggie Mendelson working inside right now for Nebraska. Spent most of the fall playing with the volleyball team. What a nice pickup for her.
I have been so impressed with Mendelson having limited practice, being able to come in from volleyball and look like she's been with the team all season. She does a terrific job finishing inside, going both left and right.
First game was December 18th. She had 4 practices before that game.
And let me give you another little nugget about Mendelson.
Do it.
She's only 17 years old.
Graduated a full year early.
You see the look on her face. She has great confidence on the floor. She was able to come in over the summer in the month of June. Was the only time that she was able to spend with the basketball team. But after she finished that in July, what did she do? Go play USA volleyball.
That's right.
And when she returned to campus at Nebraska, she joined the volleyball team.
That's right. And they're pretty good. Mendelson was asked, how do you manage 2 sports? And she says, I don't, I just do it.
That's how you just sum it up right there.
This is Lexus Bargesser at the free throw line. Nebraska's hit its last 3 shots. Huskers leading Indiana 12-7. Mendelson got pushed under the basket. Nebraska saves it, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Shelley called into action, sees a lane, bounces out, rebound by Board.
Rebounding was something that Amy Williams and Terry Morin both mentioned. It was going to be important defensively. They've got to make it one and done. You can't allow those second chance opportunities.
And Nebraska loves them. There it is, Izzy Bourne with the second chance opportunity. They'll bring Scalia up on the wing. Getting the screen from Holmes. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Mackenzie Holmes pushing past Mendelson. What a move.
Holmes has had to score in so many different ways, facing up, but in all occasions, it is attacking the basket. That's where she's been most efficient.
Izzy Bourne trying to post up inside. They'll give it to her, but Sarah Scalia flies in. Sydney Parrish on the floor. Scalia up ahead, but doesn't have any help. Nebraska was quick to get back.
That's a good decision, though. Wait until Mackenzie Holmes gets down the floor. Sydney Parrish attacks the basket.
Sydney Parrish playing against her former teammate Jazz Shelley. Both started their careers at Oregon, and she driving to the basket. Indiana trying to come back. They trailed Nebraska here in Bloomington. Well, here's our first Super Tuesday college basketball matchup of 2023. Should be a good one. KJ Williams, LSU, they're 12-1, coming off an upset of number 9 Arkansas. They'll face Oscar Tshiebwe and number 19 Kentucky at Rupp. Coverage of this SEC showdown begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ESPN and the app. Sydney Parrish at the free throw line completes the three-point play for Indiana, who's having to play catch-up against this unranked Nebraska team. But the Huskers coming out on the road shooting 60% so far here in the first quarter.
It was going to be really important for Nebraska to get off to a good start. They had to establish the physicality, that mentality on the floor with how, because that's what Michigan did to them in their last game in the Big Ten.
Yeah, in that first quarter, Nebraska against Michigan, they only scored 9 points. They were outscored 15-9. It was not the fast start that Amy Williams wanted to see from her group. Nice look from Kendall Moriarty.
Now, Alexis Markowski back in the game. Remember, she's got 1 foul.
Mackenzie Holmes comes up and gets it. She's got 7 points to lead Indiana. Sydney Parrish with a deep shot. On the trail, Markowski banks it in. Okay.
Happy New Year. Let's go.
Alexis Markowski, her 15th three-pointer on the season. Look, she shoots 42% from behind the arc.
Oh, yeah, she moves around all over the floor. She is not that only back to the basket post player. They can play a 5-out offense with Markowski on the floor.
Both offenses clicking right now. Indiana's hit its last 4 shots. They got to take one quickly, though, and there is a travel. Hannah Sandvik with the travel.
Markowski had to go to the bench with that early foul, but once she came back in, Holmes late to get there, and you can't be there on Markowski to be late. She's going to make you pay.
Shelley tried to dump it back inside as she was driving baseline, and there is a foul, the second on Markowski. How does that change things?
Well, she is that physical presence inside. She brings a lot of confidence to the floor. So she's going to have to sit. It's not, I think the rotations will be fine with the substitution with Annika Stewart coming in, but it's a matter now, what does that do to Alexis Markowski? She was tentative against Michigan when she had to go to the bench with those 2 fouls when she came back in.
Chloe Moore McNeil at the free throw line.
You know, Andy Markowski said that Alexis came and talked to him before the game, and they talked about how the mentality of coming in and that she couldn't get into foul trouble. When she was going to the bench, her dad said, "What are you doing?" He wants to see his young daughter in the game.
Second generation Husker, as her dad played for the Nebraska Cornhuskers too. Shelley back to Stewart. Dump inside to Coley. Rebound by Parrish. Moore McNeil trying to push the pass ahead to Lily Meister. Nebraska is going to replace Coley with Izzy Bourne, who comes back in the game.
And Amy Williams said that Izzy Bourne on the floor, she is that calming factor. She's got that maturity. She's going to make good decisions. They're going to need her on the floor with Markowski on the bench.
Well, Sydney Parrish was giving Annika Stewart everything and more, and it's going to be possession arrow pointing to Indiana.
Yeah, Sydney Parrish was the player that was the spark off the bench for Indiana. And when Grace Berger went down with that knee injury against Auburn, that moved Sydney Parrish into the starting lineup. Since she's moved into the starting lineup, she has gone every game since then and scored in double figures. Not average, but actually scored in double figures.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the differences. We had this Indiana team when they traveled to play Tennessee, and Terry Morin was so excited about the depth that she had because Sydney Parrish was able to come off the bench. Now with Grace Berger out with an injury, she's moved into the starting lineup. How about the transition 3 from Callan Hake?
Nebraska's got the confidence and the momentum on their side, on the road, hitting shots. Things are going well for the Cornhuskers.
What did Amy Williams tell us? I need Kroll, Moriarty, and Hake to step up today. They can't have 0 points.
Well, they look like they have adjusted of not having Allison Weiser.
It's a turnover under the basket into the hands of Mackenzie Williams. Indiana has not led today. It's been Nebraska from the start. Nebraska shooting 64% from the field. About a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Garzone, the step back, right in the bucket. Huskers not able to get a shot off, but they will take the lead at the end of the first quarter.
Colin Hake for three. The Huskers, they came delivering a message on the road. Can they keep it up for the second quarter?
Well, tomorrow here are the 2 of the 4 bowl games for you on the ESPN networks. Quarterback Will Rogers leading number 22 Mississippi State against Illinois. That'll be on ESPN2. Coverage beginning at noon Eastern. And then on ABC at 1 Eastern, it's Jaden Daniels and number 17 LSU against Purdue in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in Orlando. Back here in Bloomington, look at the Nebraska team go. This is the start they wanted to see in their last outing. 64% shooting from the field in that first quarter.
Well, and hitting shots from the three-point line. They are 4 of 5 from the three-point line.
Nebraska does have some foul trouble. Alexis Markowski is on the bench with 2 fouls. Here's Scalia for Indiana. The long 2 rattles out into the hands of Bourne. Jazz Shelley coming around, back up top to Bourne. Annika Stewart calling for it. She moves out of the way. 5 seconds. Stewart's got to take that 3. Nebraska did start 4 of 6 from behind the arc.
Now what Indiana's going to need to do, they've got to get this woman, number 12, Yarden Garzone, involved offensively. She has been their best striker from the three-point line.
Just a freshman, but she has come in with a lot of pro experience. Her teammates told us she came in from day 1 ready to go. Stolen away by Shelley. Dumping it off to Hybe, and an offensive foul. Lexus Bargester steps up and takes the charge. That's the first on Sam Hybe.
Transition defense also key. Lexi Bird, she was with the receiving end of the coaches yesterday, and everything didn't seem like anything would go right. Drawing that charge, that'll help coaches maybe be a little lighter on you on practice the next time.
Hey, she was trying. She was working hard.
Well, I think they expect so much out of her. There she is. That's a good cut.
Hey, great vision, too, from Mackenzie Holt.
Absolutely. But for Lexi to be moving, getting in that open spot, that's a good sign for the freshman, because Indiana's going to really rely on her to be able to contribute, make plays that they would normally get from Grace Berger. Well, there she is, cutting to the basket.
Again, no Grace Berger for Indiana. Nebraska without Allison Widener for the rest of the season. Grace Berger is trying to come back for Indiana, and that would be huge. This is a player that came back for her 5th year, moved over to the point guard position, and helped Indiana get up to being a top 5 team. Sam Hybe at the free throw line here for Nebraska. Got 1 of 2. There's Grace Berger.
Now this is close to what the doctors had projected. It's 4 to 6 weeks injury. She tells next Friday will be 6 weeks.
Yes.
I was hoping we'd get to unveil Grace Berger back on the court today.
Your zone gets open, takes the three. Sydney Parrish was trying to fly in for the rebound, but Hake scooped it up quicker.
Hake didn't seem to bounce that back down at all.
Then takes the transition three. Up ahead to Mackenzie Holmes. Going to the free throw line. Fouled by Maddie Kroll. Her first.
Maddie Kroll did everything that she could to get that back down in transition defense, but called for the foul. Mackenzie Holmes, so impressive how she runs the floor. She's got herself in terrific shape throughout her career. You see her, she constantly brings the energy down the floor.
You see her shooting percentage, it's so efficient, second in the nation in field goal percentage. She is second in the Big Ten in points per game behind Caitlin Clark.
Well, Caitlin Clark scored a lot of points.
Oh, yeah.
But I so enjoy watching Mackenzie Holmes at practice, how she gets down and post up, but also how she will evacuate an area and find an open space. She's in constant movement. That really makes the Indiana offense work.
Holmes gets a break with 9 points. Tie game. Indiana has not led today. It's been all Nebraska. Hake can't get past Scalia. Throwing it up to Bourne. She's got to work her way back. There you go, Izzy Bourne.
There's great patience on Nebraska's part. Move around. There were going to be some switching actions. They got the mismatch they wanted with Bourne and the positioning inside for the finish.
Barjesser throwing it up to Garzone. Chloe Moore McNeil. It's going to be a foul on Yarden Garzone, her second. So Alexis Markowski comes back in the game. Now she's got 2 fouls.
But Nebraska needs to have her on the floor. Mackenzie Holmes now with her back, with McCluskey back on the floor. Indiana's got to look to try to attack. Number 52, number 40 in black.
And that's a turnover.
Now, Izzy Bourne is that player that Nebraska can try to go isolate her against Sydney Parrish, but that's not an easy feat. Parrish is tough down there.
All right, so again, keeping an eye on Markowski because she has those 2 fouls. Do they try to go inside to Holmes? Yes, they do.
Holmes has got to go straight at her. Don't fade away.
Good defense by Markowski.
She's got to play. Markowski's got to play smart. Straight up. Her dad talked to her about. She knew that Mackenzie Holmes was going to get hers, and her dad told her, "Look, if she's already got position on you, you got to let her go."
Parrish lets it fly just off the front of the iron. Indiana's now missed its last 4 shots. And a turnover again for Nebraska. 7 turnovers for the Cornhuskers.
That wasn't a bad look by Jazz Shelley. She's just got to wait until Bourne is getting established. Get the defense to commit. Otherwise, if it's not leading to a layup, let her get post in position because she's proven she can score through contact.
Ball movement for Indiana, breaking the press, and they get it to Mackenzie Holmes. That was pretty.
And this Markowski down low.
Hake, it rattles out. Scalia gets it and draws the foul.
And Indiana playing much more composed against this press. Once you get the ball to the middle of the floor, Chloe Moore McNeil did the right thing. Get down in the meat of the paint, make the defense commit. That gave a better angle and option for Mackenzie Holmes.
Fouls on Callan Haig, her first. Indiana looking for its first lead. Can Parrish give it to them? No. Indiana just 1 for 6 from 3. Shelley gets rejected by Holmes. Scalia floater off the window. Indiana with its first lead. Offensive foul on Nebraska.
Defense leading to offense. That's how Indiana is working at protecting home court. They are trying to get it going here in this second quarter. Indiana right now has the...
Well, this Nebraska team playing without Allison Widener, who's a sophomore. She's out for the season with an ACL tear. It happened December 21st in that Kansas game that went to 3 overtimes. But how much has this changed what Nebraska's been able to do?
Well, Widener is their true point guard, and she had been and moved into the starting lineup in the final 8 games of last season. She is that athlete that can attack off the bounce, and with the ability to drive, that opens up shots for Jazz Shelley.
So Jazz Shelley has had to step into that role. Sam Hybe, who's coming back from an injury from herself, is also trying to pick up some of the slack. 7 seconds here for the Hoosiers, enjoying its first lead of the day. The 3 ball has not been there, though. Indiana 1 for 7.
We got to keep an eye on the minutes for Hybe. When Nebraska knocked off Kansas, they had a triple overtime. Hybe went over minutes.
But they got the win.
It counts.
Yeah. Held ball, possession arrow pointing to Indiana. Mackenzie Holmes will take a breather here. 11 points. She's the only player in this game with double figures. Coley also takes a seat for Nebraska. And the Huskers continue this pressure.
But so far, Indiana has done a really good job of staying composed and being able to get into their offense.
Scalia working on Moriarty. Stays with the Hoosiers. Offensive foul.
Scalia was really trying to get things going offensively. She's known as a three-point shooter, transfer in from Minnesota, and that's the way Nebraska was guarding her, really running her off that three-point line. So she's got to continue to look for opportunities to attack the basket.
So the Bigs check back in. Markowski and Holmes back on the floor. Holmes with 11, Markowski with 5, but she's got 2 fouls.
Now Markowski not only has to play careful on the offensive end, on the defensive end, but offensively as well. She don't want to pick up an offensive foul.
Bourne is immediately double teamed. Fouled by Parrish.
I really like how these two post players post up big, making themselves available. Look at Markowski down low.
5 seconds. Moriarty has it stripped by Moore McNeil. Bargesser short on the shot.
Burgesser, she didn't even want to look at the bench. She knows the coaches are going to have a message for her. But like I said, they demand so much from Lexi because they know they need her. She's got to develop at that point guard spot.
Moriarty from range. The 5th three-pointer made by Nebraska. Huskers have led the majority of this game. Indiana didn't lead until early on here in the second quarter.
Good ball movement by Indiana.
They find Moore McNeil open. Second chance, Bargesser. Poked away by Moore McNeil again. That's two great defensive plays by Chloe Moore McNeil. Parrish will keep shooting.
Alexis Markowski is going to have to make her move quicker, because as soon as the ball goes in, Indiana, as soon as she goes to put it on the floor, there's a guard that is darting in to bring that help.
Kendall Moriarty whistled for her first, and Sarah Scalia at the free throw line. Indiana 8 for 9 from the charity stripe. Gets the first. Here's our first Super Tuesday college basketball matchup of 2023. LSU facing Kentucky coming up Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern here on ESPN. Nebraska's shooting 50%, but they've had 6 turnovers over the last 5 minutes.
Well, the offense has really cooled down once Indiana has turned up their defensive pressure.
Stewart's shot is short. Stolen away by Shelley.
It's so easy to use a pass fake. It's really easy.
Bourne's three won't fall. Under a minute to play in the half. Oh, Sarah Scalia! Moriarty for three. Stewart, second chance.
They called a delay of game on Annika Stewart. I think she deflected the ball out of bounds after it went through the net.
Just a warning. 22.5 seconds for Indiana. Up by a point.
Got to watch out for number 14 in white, Sarah Scalia. She likes the big moments at the end of the clock.
Garzone off the screen from Holmes. Garzone will take the two. Jazz Shelley trying to throw up a shot. You want Big Ten basketball? We got Big Ten basketball. This has been awesome. A 1-point game at the half. Number 4, Indiana, up, but just by a point on Nebraska here in Bloomington. Let's get you to the studio.
Take care of the basketball. They only had 6 turnovers in that first half.
Indiana outscored Nebraska 12-8 in the second quarter. They took a 1-point lead into that locker room. We mentioned Mackenzie Holmes, but Alexis Markowski, she dealt with some foul trouble, had to sit most of the first quarter, picked up those 2 early fouls.
So Nebraska is posting Izzy Bourne. They had Markowski out at the top of the key.
Shelley picks up her dribble, dumps it off to Sam Hybe. Maddie Kroll! The three-point shooting continues for the Huskers.
All the defense is flooding ball side for Indiana against Nebraska. That skip pass is going to be there. Can Nebraska consistently knock down that shot?
They have so far 6 made threes, shooting 46%.
Holmes has got to attack Markowski. She's got 2 fouls with 3. She's got to go back to the bench.
Mackenzie Holmes up to 13 points. This is Nebraska's third straight top 20 opponent. They're coming off a loss to Michigan. Amy Williams talked to us about they needed to be tougher. They got out-toughed in that last game against Michigan.
They look pretty tough today, and they came on the road to come with that mentality has been impressive.
Parrish back up to Chloe Moore-McNeil, back to Parrish. Better angle to get it to Holmes. 4 seconds. Gotta go. Going to the free throw line.
Holmes' balance allows her to have options offensively. You watch her post up because she's on balance, little fake shimmy to the left, and then she's able to come back to the right, split the defense, and find a basket for the two.
Well, that's a second foul on Izzy Bourne. So Bourne and Markowski both out there for Nebraska with 2 fouls apiece. Indiana 92% from the free throw line today. Markowski is going to get Holmes to foul her and gets herself to the free throw line.
That can be a confidence builder for Alexis Markowski to be able to finish on a great player like Mackenzie Holmes. You see the sophomore say, yeah, and one. Hit the bucket, now going to the free throw line.
Alexis Markowski from Lincoln, Nebraska. Grew up a Nebraska fan. Her dad played there. She was the Nebraska Gatorade Player of the Year. Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year. Scalia's shot is off.
That was terrific defense by Alexis Markowski. She really didn't commit one side or the other. Made Scalia make some decisions. She missed the layup. Came up getting the stop.
Inside to Bourne. Fouled by Parrish. Get Izzy Bourne to the free throw line.
Toughness. We talked about the toughness. Nebraska, that was the New Year's resolution Amy Williams wanted for her team, was to not get out-toughed. And they have brought the toughness so far to Bloomington.
Three-point play.
Nebraska has taken the lead right now. How will Indiana handle it?
Holmes trying to get around Markowski. I think this foul is going to be on Hybe, yes. Second on Sam Hybe.
Amy Williams thought it was a travel. As you saw, Hybe came in. She's really trying to help out and protect Markowski. Hybe knows Markowski's got those 2 fouls.
Now, talking about Mackenzie Holmes, we mentioned she's second in the nation in field goal percentage. Look, she has shot over 60% her entire career.
But on that graphic, it's, yeah, over 60%, but she's averaging double figures. It's not like she was like, 2 of 4. Like, she's taking shots and being efficient, and she's done that every single season that she's been here at Indiana.
All-American last season.
And she's gotten herself throughout her career in great shape. And Terry Morin really complimented Allie Patberg and Grassberger. Their commitment to fitness and knowing what to put in your mouth to fuel your body and get into tremendous shape. She's totally transformed. Mackenzie Holmes has transformed her body.
Bargesser feeding Holmes. Back out. Garzone had trouble hanging onto the basketball, and Jazz Shelley's going to push the other way. Curl in the corner. Chloe Moore-McNeil saw that coming. Got right in the passing lane. And Garzone is fouled. We're mentioning Mackenzie Holmes and her improvement. This is on her official visit to Indiana and then her senior season.
She looks so young. You look at this, the
what a
maturity
baby
in her face, and also the confidence that she has. Terry Morin said she's really a rock star on campus. When she first came as a freshman, she's very quiet, didn't talk to a whole lot of people. And now, of course, everybody in Bloomington knows who Mackenzie Holmes is with the production that she has had and the success basketball-wise, but she's also a tremendous person. But her commitment to work ethic has been so impressive, and you can see the results. It has paid off.
This has been a close ball game. The largest lead was for Nebraska at 7 points in the first quarter. Shelley trying to pivot around Moore McNeil, stopped by Holmes. Foul on Kendall Coley.
After Mackenzie Holmes got that block on one end, as a post player, I have in my mindset, you got to reward her. When it comes down offensively, you got to feed the beast. You got to get the ball back inside. Chloe Moore McNeil has done a terrific job moving into that starting spot. She's the starting point guard, taking care of the ball, and through her career here in Indiana, she's been patient. Didn't play a lot her freshman year, got more experience now starting.
Only started 2 games last season. Inside to Markowski. Travel.
We're just halfway through the third quarter. Great cut. We're halfway through the third quarter. Mackenzie Holmes has 17 points.
That was a great ball movement by Indiana. And Maddie Kroll up, and we'll get to the free throw line.
The spread offense for Indiana, moving Holmes out away from the basket, opens up the lane. And Chloe Moore McNeil recognizes it. Good give and go action for the Hoosiers.
Markowski's going to check out. Mendelson will come back in.
That's a good substitution right there. Markowski going out, maybe give her a break before the media timeout, and with Mackenzie Holmes going to the bench as well.
Markowski with 8 points, 3 of 4 from the field. Sydney Parrish, the kick out. Bargesser looking for the lay-in, no. And a held ball, possession arrow. Pointing to Indiana. We'll step aside, just a 2-point game here in Bloomington. When we talked about how tough the Big Ten has been, look, Charlie Cream right now, when we took our latest bracketology, he's got 7 teams in. There's 2 teams that are undefeated in conference play early on, and Ohio State's just one of a handful of teams, 5 teams in the nation that are undefeated totally.
Look, at Michigan State, They just knocked off Indiana. They're not on the list yet. They're going to work their way back in. This is going to be a competitive conference season throughout. The committee's going to have some tough decisions.
Now remember, this is the 4th conference game for both of these teams. The Big Ten starting conference play a little bit earlier. And immediately Indiana goes inside to Holmes.
I want to see that again so that the country can look at how quickly Mackenzie Holmes can move without the basketball.
Holmes up to 19 points. Mendelson, the skip pass to Shelley. Hake getting physical and getting to the free throw line.
Toughness from the Cornhuskers. Kaylin Hake attacking even through contact, the focus and the finish.
Foul is the first on Chloe Moore McNeil. Shelley floater. Rebound by Holmes.
Indiana will move around Mackenzie Holmes in different areas so she's not having to score with just her back to the basket. She reads so well.
Garden Garzone. It's been a tough offensive day for Garzone. 4 points, but just 1 of 7 now from the field.
Hake is looking for a shot. Every time she touches it, you see eyes go to the rim. Number 14 in black.
Moriarty driving, but now in trouble. And she traveled. That double team collapsed quickly.
That's just a smart play of Mackenzie Holmes, recognizing once the ball handler is stopped, then come and bring the pressure, not allow a pass out.
That's 15 turnovers now for Nebraska, right at their season average. They average 14.9 a game.
Indiana hangs their hat on their defense.
Back inside to Holmes, working on Mendelson. Traveling violation and the turnover by Indiana.
Hake then recognized as soon as Holmes put the ball on the court to sprint in, take away any open look. And you see Mackenzie Holmes is disappointed in herself. She knows she should appreciate and understand defenses are going to bring doubles to her with how efficient she is in scoring the ball.
High Bahia.
This is a different Nebraska team than what we saw against Michigan. They are playing, their cuts are harder. They're more intentional in playing with strength.
That was their New Year's resolution though, right?
Absolutely, and it's New Year's Day. You start living up to it day one.
Amy Williams told us our New Year's resolution not to be out toughed, and they're playing tough today. Hake for 2. Moore McNeil on the boards. Mendelson with the block. Sydney Parrish found herself all alone, but again, the struggles continue for Indiana from behind the three-point line. Well, here's our first Super Tuesday college basketball matchup of the new year. It is LSU and number 19 Kentucky coming up on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
A few changings of the guard. Markowski is back in the game. Mackenzie Holmes, she's at the table waiting to come back in.
Alyssa Geary at the free throw line. The transfer from Providence.
Amy Williams told us that she thought this game was going to be decided based on rebounds. Well, right now, Nebraska has the advantage. They're +5.
Swish! That's 7 threes now for Nebraska.
Hake is shooting that thing with confidence. She's
Feeling
looking
it.
forward every time she touches the ball.
2 for 5. Under a minute to go in the quarter. Stolen away by Shelley.
Markowski's got to be careful.
Indiana can take the last shot of the quarter. They haven't scored in over 2 minutes. Sarah Scalia with the basketball. Garzone turns into the double team and just hands it to Markowski. Nebraska up by a point.
The three-point shot is what's kept the Cornhuskers in this. Kellen Hake for 3, have the Huskers up by 1.
Nebraska on top of number 4 Indiana. The Cornhuskers looking for their 3rd ranked win of the season. We were just talking in break, 10 minutes to go. What do you see coming from this Nebraska team?
I believe Nebraska is going to continue to attack now and get to the free throw line, specifically Jazz Shelley. She's got had to take over at that point guard spot, attacking in and then kicking out for threes. You've got Hake who has hit threes. Markowski also can be effective from the three-point line to keep the pressure on Indiana's defense. They're 7 of 17 from the three-point line. That has paid off for Nebraska. Indiana, on the other hand, they got to play through Mackenzie Holmes and Sydney Parrish, number 33 in white. Look, this is a player that can make big plays in big moments for Indiana.
Parrish just 6 points with Mackenzie Holmes with 19. Indiana ended the 3rd quarter on a 2-minute and 28-second scoring drought. Garzone
has not been able to get going. Only 4 points. She's 1 of 7 from the three-point line.
Well, Indiana's 1 of 11 from the three-point line. So Parrish is going to sub out. Alexis Bargesser checks back in for Indiana.
I can see why Bargesser is getting so much attention in practice, because they need her. She has been vital in today's game with her minutes on the floor.
Markowski
told us she was excited because she didn't play against Mackenzie Holmes last year when these two teams met. And she has great respect for what Holmes does on the floor.
Eight seconds now. Back out to Moore McNeil. Elevating. Got it. 8 points now for Chloe Moore McNeil. And then a quick answer by Sam Hybe.
That's what Hybe can do. Before the defense can get set, keep the pressure on, keep going till somebody stops you.
Nebraska shooting 45% from the field. Scalia right down the middle of the lane, bounces off the back of the iron. And Jazz Shelley thought she had Maddie Kroll running with her.
Yesterday in practice, we saw Indiana work on a lot of ball screen action and almost ghost screens, which is when the post goes like they're going to set the screen and then slip. Mackenzie Holmes, the last possession when she came off the screen, she was by herself. So as we see this fourth quarter evolve, look more for that opportunity off ball screen action.
Holmes working her way back into the paint. What a move!
Not too much Markowski can do about that. Ooh, Markowski posted up and caught Holmes right in the neck.
Indiana back the other way.
That's where you go.
Maddie Kroll.
Oh, they got to get Markowski the ball down low. She was calling for it.
Izzy Bourne spots up. Yes! Everything going Nebraska's way when it comes to the three ball. Inside to Gershon.
If things weren't working for Gershon on the perimeter, she's got the length. It's a 6'2" guard cut to the basket.
Several times today we've seen how good Indiana's ball movement can be, and they've gotten them open, easy looks under the basket. Especially when Nebraska started bringing the pressure. Moore McNeil's projected by Bourne. Going to stay with Nebraska.
Markowski needs to get some touches now for Nebraska.
And Amy Williams and Nebraska are going to call timeout. Tied up for the 10th time. A heated battle in the Big Ten. Close one in Big Ten play. No surprise here. Nebraska and Indiana tied. Nebraska has led the majority of this game for just over 20 minutes. Their three ball has helped. But look, if this thing stays tight, they've got experience in close situations this season.
Nebraska went to overtime with Mississippi State, triple overtime against Kansas. They were able to battle that one out as well. So they're used to being there. The tighter the game, the Huskers, no problem.
And Markowski fouled by Holmes.
Before the break, I had just said Markowski is going to have to get more involved now. She's been able to play the majority of this game with the 2 fouls. Now she can play much more aggressive.
Mackenzie Holmes with 2 fouls now, just like Markowski. What stood out about the post battle so far? Because we were definitely excited to see those two go at it coming into this game.
Early on, when the ball went inside to Markowski, Indiana was sending help in. She was taking too long to get into her move. For Mackenzie Holmes, she was a lot of times, her movements were to the basket to finish, not having to play with her back to the basket. These two will battle it out for the last 6 minutes of this fourth quarter.
Moore McNeil throws it back up to Gershon. Bargesser. Kick ball.
You saw Holmes go to Bargesser and say no, because Jazz Shelley is showing help in, playing off of the freshman. Got to have space, get the ball back to the top, and then feed it inside.
That's going to be a foul on Annika Stewart. Her first. Sarah Scalia back in the game, replacing Lexus Bargesser. Izzy Bourne is going to come in for Stewart. Skip pass. Hake open. But it's going to be Indiana ball.
She was out of bounds. But that skip pass, with all the attention that is getting focused on Markowski inside when the ball goes to the wing, as Indiana floods to one side, that skip pass is going to be there for the 3.
They've used it a couple of times today. That's helped them get 8 3-pointers. Seconds on the shot clock. Scalia off the screen to Parrish. Markowski fadeaway rolls out.
Look at Holmes in ball screen action.
You see the look of relief on her face? That's just the second 3-pointer made today by Indiana. They're 2 for 13. Callan Hay, she can shoot the 3, she can take it in.
She's a smart player, finding her opportunities. But before the last timeout, we talked about keep an eye on Sydney Parrish. She is a player that likes to make big plays and big moments. She just hit that 3. Chloe Moore McNeil has got to recognize, go to the hot hand. You've got Sydney Parrish, the transfer in from Oregon, Miss Indiana. Yeah. She can hit the 3, but on the other end, there's a freshman. Her name is Callan Hake, and the Huskers are not going away.
Some special Hoosiers fans inside Assembly Hall. That is Steve and Alice. They're the grandparents of Sydney Parrish. We were just talking about Sydney and how important she can be for this Indiana team, especially down the stretch. Look, she grew up, she's from Indiana, about an hour away from here. Was Indiana Miss Basketball at McDonald's All-American. Went to Oregon, and Steve and Alice, they still had season tickets here to watch the Hoosiers play, and then how convenient for
not only do they have
Sydney to come
season
back.
tickets, they were courtside.
Yeah.
Like, they die hard Indiana fans. So how excited were they when they got the news that their baby granddaughter was coming home?
Chloe Moore McNeil ties it up at the free throw line. And Parrish just saw that 3 go in. Indiana could use her to turn it on right now. Nebraska has pushed Indiana all day. IB working, back over to Hake. 6 seconds. Indiana's defense stepping up.
Indiana's got to play through Mackenzie Holmes, and she and Sydney Parrish need to get touches.
Holmes has 21 points to lead all players today.
Garzone may have gotten away with a little push-off.
Chloe Moore McNeil is fouled. Third foul on Sam Hybe. We mentioned what a transformation for Chloe Moore McNeil. She just kept working hard and hard, only averaged 7 minutes 2 seasons ago, only started 2 games last season. now in the starting lineup this season and thrown into that point guard position with Grace Berger unavailable right now with a knee injury.
Terry Morin talked about how Chloe stayed committed to the process, and when talking about what she needed to develop, she needed to be better one-on-one defender, and she has embraced that to go along with her ability to play the point guard spot.
Possession arrow to Indiana.
Who was it that got in there on the floor? I love it when the big girls dive on the floor, getting those 50-50 balls.
More McNeil to inbound under the basket. Indiana's largest lead has only been 4 points today. Nebraska led by as many as 7. Third foul on Murkowski.
What I love about Indiana's offense is that when it goes inside, it's not one and done. If Mackenzie Holmes doesn't have the pass, she passes it out, then she gets it back. That allows her to relocate to get a better post position to have the advantage to score.
Holmes over her average, her season average. She's at 21 points, 8 for 11 from the field, 7 rebounds. There's her mom watching on. That's Denise.
Down from Maine, made the trip in for this Big Ten matchup.
I hope she didn't drive.
It'd be a long way.
Into the corner, Hybe!
The 3 ball. That's what's keeping Nebraska in this.
9 3-pointers from Nebraska. They're shooting 43%. Izzy Bourne just wanted it. Layup. Nebraska has not won a game at Assembly Hall since February of 2015. Could that change today?
Nebraska's offense has been so good. The 3-point ball, off penetration, penetrating inside, make the defense collapse. And then defensively, the physicality, the toughness is what Nebraska has brought along. And that's what's allowed the Cornhuskers. They're up by 2. You guys, come on back.
They didn't call a timeout. So not a timeout here. They went to go review the out of bounds to make sure they had the possession correct.
Yeah.
2-point game here. Nebraska's got 3 timeouts. Indiana with 4. Indiana with 3 fouls to give.
The possession error going to Indiana. Indiana is going to have to, they've done a good job for the majority of this game of taking care of the basketball. They have 11 turnovers, but it's the crucial ones, the ones that are leading headed the other direction. They've got to secure the basketball.
And it's going to stay with Indiana. Excuse me. Yeah, it's going to stay Indiana ball. Five seconds. There's Sydney Parrish.
Her experience is going to be crucial for the Hoosiers down the stretch.
Hybe just hit a big 3 for Nebraska. That'll be short in the lay-in. Rebound by Holmes. This layup by Moore McNeil. They say Indiana ball. They'll look at this again.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
I think Sydney Parrish might have been the last one to touch. I don't know, maybe not. Easy Bourne. That's going to be hard. That may have to be.
Well, the original call was it was Indiana ball.
They'll have to stay that way if it's not just obvious, inconclusive evidence. Is the guy there on the phone? Is he calling to find out?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He tried to phone a friend.
Yes. I don't think we have that option.
What a great game, though, this has been. And there are going to be more games like this in the Big Ten.
Tied up 13 times, 16 lead changes. You look at the Big Ten as a whole, they have 8 teams in the top 40 of the net. Now, the net replaced the RPI a few years ago. It's something the selection committee really looks at when they're picking teams for the tournament. But how interesting, and it just shows you how competitive the Big Ten is.
Well, you talk about 8 teams. Number 9 is Purdue at 42 in the net, and Penn State is at 59. I mean, it's competitive teams all the way through this conference.
So again, they're looking at possession right now. And it's going to stay with Indiana.
I have to be looking for Mackenzie Holmes, number 54 in white. Watch her move away from the basket and then cut and slip hard back to the basket.
She'll post up on Markowski, going mid-range, just short.
For Nebraska, watch number 1, Jazz Shelley, if she gets open.
Scalia stepped in and swiped the pass away. Your zone.
Got to play through Mackenzie Holmes and play going to the rim.
8 seconds now. Chloe Moore McNeil takes the 3. Nebraska is going to call timeout. They will advance the ball. It'll be inbounded on this near side away from the benches.
So Nebraska's, look, it is a tie ball game. The only thing that Nebraska needs to do, you got to win by 1. So you're going to have, you've got ball handlers, you've got Hybe, and you have Jazz Shelley, who can attack the basket inside. And I believe they're going to leave the lanes open. They'll rise up. Markowski from the perimeter and then get her going back to the basket as well. Indiana, they've got to, all they have to do is just defend. They don't need to foul. They don't need to make any gambles. And then they've got to rebound like their life depends on it. If Nebraska goes early and Indiana rebounds the basketball, they've got a timeout. They can advance the ball, take the ball out in front of their own basket.
Indiana still has all 4 of its timeouts. Now they do have 3 fouls to give. Just something to note here with a tie game at 62 all, 30.4 seconds left.
That's a great point. That's a great point that you made about fouls.
Coming up, a couple bowl games for you on ESPN. Coming up on Monday, Tulane, USC, Penn State, Utah. But we got a close game here in Bloomington. 30 seconds left, tie game.
You're talking about fouls to give. Indiana now makes sure, though, that Nebraska's not in the act of shooting when they're using those fouls and having to make Nebraska take the ball out again. Indiana's got to try to get a 5-second call.
Nebraska does have 2 timeouts. 8 to inbound.
They brought Markowski up to the top.
Sam Hybe taking her time, 9 seconds now. Jazz Shelley for 2, it's off. So they will say that Indiana called the timeout.
They called timeout, but I thought Sydney Parrish dribbled it before timeout. She could not advance. It will be taking out where the ball is on the side.
Yeah, Indiana would have had to call the timeout immediately before they made a basketball play in order to advance the ball using the timeout.
Exactly. So in order to advance the basketball, Terry Morin would have to call another timeout.
They're at the monitor looking at something.
I wouldn't burn a timeout right here. 1.3, worst thing you're going to do is go to overtime. Take that with you. But you got to make sure you get the ball in.
Not surprised this comes down to this. Tied at 62, 1.3 on the clock. It's been back and forth all day. Nebraska led at the end of the first quarter. They haven't won here at Assembly Hall since 2015. But they've beaten 2 ranked opponents this year already.
This is the first time that Alexis Markowski has had the opportunity to play against Mackenzie Holmes. And Holmes with 22 points.
.3 seconds, so you can catch and shoot. More McNeil to inbound. Sydney Parrish will take it. Half-court shot. No. Woo! We are going to overtime.
What better way to start 2023 than a battle like this in the Big Ten? Nebraska, Indiana. Sydney Parrish, it was a little late. That wasn't going to count if it went. But hey, stay in here.
The third overtime game that Nebraska has played this season. They've won the previous 2, including triple overtime against Kansas. Offensively, Indiana, a different team today, shooting just 37% from the field.
You're trying to post up. Yarden Garzone. I totally got that backwards. But Garzone has the height advantage over Sam Hybe, trying to post her up. But instead of trying something new, go with what works. I say keep going back to Mackenzie Holmes.
Jazz Shelley coming up off the screen. They'll go inside to Bourne, who's double teamed. And she traveled that Indiana defense.
Nebraska, when they get the ball in the post got to make a quick decision. Are you going to go score it, or you've got to pass it back out? Because it is a swarm of white uniforms anytime the ball goes to the block.
Indiana has a really good defense, second in the conference in opponent field goal percentage. Their opponents usually only shoot 36%. Harris is back. Maddie Kroll.
through the map of Sydney Parrish and Mackenzie Holmes is how Indiana can close this thing out.
Parrish to Holmes. She overshoots it. Went and got it back. Possession arrow to Nebraska.
Sydney Parrish off the exchange with Chloe Moore McNeil. Just gets her feet set, knocks it down. She loves these big moments. Starting off the season, she had to come off the bench, and she said, I had to be ready. And now in the starting lineup, it's comfortable. Back to what she knows, because she was in the starting lineup when she played at Oregon.
Their zone traveled. It'll be Nebraska ball. That saves the Huskers in what was going to be a Hy-Vee turnover.
With Hake back in the game now for the Huskers, number 14 in black. That's a 3-point threat.
Shelley too much on the three. Want to let you know if you're looking for Cincinnati and Temple, that's going to start over on ESPN2 at the top of the hour. We'll get you there as soon as we finish up here in Bloomington. Oh, Moore McNeil by herself.
But who saw it? Who made that pass? Again, Sydney Parrish, her presence on the floor, and she's a competitor.
Nebraska has not scored in the overtime period. You think your zone feeling that?
Protecting home court here in Bloomington, Indiana, and the patient Sydney Parrish off the hard cut by Chloe Moore McNeil. Got the easy two.
Sam Hy-Vee just whistled for her fourth foul. Yarden Garzone, who has struggled today, 2 for 10 from the field, but we have not seen that fight let up from the freshman.
Terry Morin is on all fours on the sideline.
Nate gets tripped up. It'll stay with the Huskers. 2 minutes to go in OT. Nebraska has yet to score in overtime.
This is really where Nebraska misses Allison Widener, your point guard that could keep the pressure on the defense, attack off the dribble, and then be passing out to your three-point shooters.
Markowski. Garzone took the ball from behind her. There's a fire lit in Yarden Garzone. Kendall Moriarty's third foul is whistled.
Garzone not able to get as involved offensively, scoring the basketball. She has turned things up on the defensive end, really using her length.
Look, she's played with the Israel senior national team. She's been playing against the pros for the last 2 years, so she's got experience. She came in as more of a veteran-type player than just a true freshman.
And she's been a three-point threat for Indiana. Tonight, only 0 for 3, but she has been big on the defensive side.
Did you see that free throw?
It did. As long as it goes in.
Steve and Alice are happy. Amy Williams calls timeout. They wave off the shot. 1:21. Indiana with its largest lead of the game. They've outscored Nebraska 9-0 in overtime.
And now Nebraska can't use a lot of time within the shot clock. They've got to find their quick hit package, whether that be off ball screens, diagonal screen up, getting Markowski moving toward the basket, make the defense have to rotate in, then you can have shots for the perimeter.
Let's take a look at our Wild recap. It's brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Mackenzie Holmes in double figures to lead all scorers with 22 points. Izzy Bourne was really important for Nebraska inside. She's one of 4 players in double figures, leading them with 15 points.
And then the three-point shot, it's been the difference from inside to out. Points in the paint, Indiana's winning that battle, plus 10 for Nebraska. They've had to knock down the 3 ball. They have made 10, 9 of 22 tonight.
So Nebraska using its timeout. They'll inbound now with some work to do and just 1:21 to do it. Hake with the floater. Rebound by Holmes.
That was a good switch out defensively. Indiana keeping McNeil Moore smaller on the perimeter, size inside.
Under a minute to play in OT. Sydney Parrish thought about it.
Nebraska's going to have to, they're just allowing, oh, there's a turnover.
Yeah, travel by Holmes.
But now Nebraska's going to have to think, I've got to score, got to foul. Got to score, got to foul. They've got to score quick.
All right, he's got to go.
They got a foul right now. They got a foul.
They're not going to. Nebraska led the majority of this game, but Indiana has dominated overtime, not allowing the Huskers to score. They will have to take a shot. Garzone. Wow! Props to Yarden Garzone, who has stuck with it today through offensive struggles. Hoosiers survive! The defense turns up. They outscore Nebraska 12-0 in overtime.
Tremendous work from Mackenzie Holmes, 22 points. And also the contribution of Sydney Parrish. Her 16 points were huge, especially down the stretch, second half and overtime.
Indiana improving to 13-1. They're 3-1 in the Big Ten.